Do you want to know who the best plays in NBA DFS and prop betting are for tonight's two-game NBA playoff slate? Let's get in here. Of course, we're going to do the same thing we do in this channel every single Monday to Friday, 1 p.m. roughly every single day. I'm going to pair my projections and some industry leaders out there, like Stokastic in particular. Looking at the ownership, looking at the sim results as well for my data. Going to hop to Unabated, see what they have for the best bets right now based off of market-based projections. We'll also hop over to Stokastic again, see what their DFS sims think with no input from me. By the end of this video, you'll know all the industry must plays, my splash plays for today's slate. Let's get into it. We are live for a video under a half an hour. Let's see if we can pull it off. Top projected players here. So one thing to note, you've probably seen on social media, how much it affects the ownership today in a do or die game for the Lakers. We'll find out. A 3-1 series lead for Minnesota tonight. But Luka Doncic and LeBron James, your two highest scorers all time in playoff elimination games. Both guys averaging over 33 fantasy points. That's ahead of your Michael Jordans, your Kareems. I don't even know if Wilt's up there, but a lot of those guys like that. So send them home tonight. It's over for LA and Houston. Not like the betting markets are saying that. Both teams favored at home tonight. But Luka and LeBron, they're going to get played decently here. You can see 41% ownership expected by Stokastic to go to Luka Doncic, 60% going LeBron's way. I am heavier on LeBron here. He's much cheaper at $9K. But Luka at 10.8, frankly, a little bit cheap for where he's been as well. As I've talked about a lot throughout the course of the season, the rates overall support that these guys are a lot more similar players than it seems. Usage similar, assist rate similar, rebound rate similar. Last playoff game, though, for Luka, he had 35% usage. LeBron closer to 20. LeBron got there more so through the peripherals, the other stats that are not points related quite as much, or at least, shot related quite as much. For Luka Doncic, though, got a lot of shots up last game. I think they're both perfectly valid plays tonight. They got an elimination game here. This Lakers team clearly had higher aspirations. Unfortunately, I just don't think they have the talent overall besides Luka and LeBron, unfortunately, and Austin Reeves, too, to his credit. At this point for Luka and LeBron, a lot of ownership going their way. It could be a situation like the Heat the other day where these guys were so highly owned. If the Lakers get their ass kicked, if Anthony Edwards keeps putting up a lot of usage like he did last time out for Minnesota after deferring the first couple games of the series, maybe the Lakers just get smoked and that's it. And these guys fail and that's how that happens. But you're talking, again, two of the greatest playoff elimination game scorers ever. You're talking two high usage guys at reasonable price tags relative to what they do. And on this slate, not a lot of guys over 50 fantasy points. These are only two guys over 50 fantasy points in terms of projections I have. So you're going to play Luka and LeBron a decent amount. I am getting less Luka, more LeBron right now, but I think flattening that out will be a goal of mine today. Alperen Şengün had 35% usage last game for the Rockets. So basically for them, everybody else sucked in the Rockets for the most part. Van Vliet was fine, but Jalen Green got jerked around in his minutes. Nobody really had a great offensive day. Besides Şengün, who ran the offense through. In most playoff games, the expectation is that, and I think the way people play it usually is that this guy had a good game last time out. He must have a good game again this time out. And sometimes that works for your Gary Trent types. Sometimes it does for some of those lesser players, but for the most part, things course correct in the game after that. Like we talked about yesterday with Nikola Jokic. I had Jokic projected really well, but also talked about Jamal Murray. If he goes off, Jokic comes down. And the game before that, Jokic had put up so many points, everything flowed through his hands. Kind of made sense that the game could move away from Murray a little bit more, even though my exposure certainly didn't think that enough. And that was one of the game theory things we talked about yesterday. I think it's the case for Şengün here, where Jalen Green getting talked up a little bit by his teammates. I think Fred VanVleet called him the most talented two-guard in the league besides Anthony Edwards. He's got to do something here, you would think, after playing just 25 minutes last game. Bad defense, put up no points or peripherals in the second half, minus 11 for him as well throughout the course of the game. If he gets some more shots up, Şengün comes down. But Şengün at 28% owned, I'm getting 39%. Really, the Warriors don't have an answer for him right now. So Şengün looks good to me at 9K. Anthony Edwards, 38% for the field. I'm getting 23 here. He has been allowing Julius Randle's been getting more shots up. Part of what they've talked about to the media so far in the playoffs that Anthony Edwards wanted to defer more, wanted to get his guys going more. He had been doing that in the first couple games, and last time out put up the highest usage on the team. I believe his highest usage in the series so far last game out for Minnesota, and they won. So Anthony Edwards at an elimination spot as well. Maybe just pick up some more usage. Projected to play 42 minutes. That's nothing wrong with that either. Think Anthony Edwards is a fine enough play, but at 38% ownership, happy to get a little bit less, get a little more Şengün, more of other guys. I think Ant's a good play today, but he could easily start to defer again in the spot if the situation doesn't call for it in the same way it did last game. Steph Curry, awful game last time out. That results in Podziemski having a better day. Buddy Hield also pretty good in his 30 minutes and change of action. Jimmy Butler had a good game as well because Curry wasn't really getting shots up, and he was getting shots up. They weren't very good. So for Steph Curry, bounce back game for him certainly in play here. He got defended a little more aggressively last time out. Van Vliet's out there playing 40 minutes for as much as that matters. Certainly going to be doing a lot of things to get Steph Curry off the shots that he wants to get the most. But Steph having a bounce back game here, it's the least owned option here out of all the pay up guys. I think he looks pretty good. So Steph Curry here, 21% ownership. I got 15 naturally. Projections will make people not get to him quite as much. And the fact that he was awful last time out box score wise probably keeps the ownership down as well. So there's your tournament option, I would think, for Steph Curry today. Julius Randle playing well in the series. Again, still putting up mid-20s usage, high 20s usage, with Anthony Edwards getting more usage last time out. So Randle, a guy I did not like much of the regular season. Do think playoff-wise is looking a little bit better. I'm at 53% ownership in my top 150 right now. Stokastic has him for 41. Nice $7,100 price tag for him tonight on DraftKings. Austin Reeves playing a lot of minutes, still deferring usage-wise to LeBron and Luka. That's set to $6,800 price tag. Too cheap for him. Getting him in 75% of my lineup. Stokastic has it at 42. Pretty big Austin Reeves stand, but as we'll see in a moment, the value is not that great. So you are going to get some of these mid-tier options a little bit more again. Jimmy Butler did not get here at all. Only 3% for me. Fields at 24. If Curry fails, I mean, again, we saw it last time out where Podziemski has the outlier day, Hield the outlier day. Two guys who would get less usage if Curry were playing well. You know, Butler, same principle too. Those guys all had good days last time out because of how poorly Steph played. If Steph plays closer to normal here, would think that Butler being lower owned is fine. Would think that certainly not chasing Buddy Hield to be fine. Podziemski at 6K, price tag coming up a little bit here. A little bit easier not to chase there. But if Curry plays well, people who point chase Butler, Podziemski, and Hield probably get left holding the bag a little bit. Even though if Hield starts again, he's probably still one of your plays we're going to get to as a value-ish guy. But Butler, to me, only 3% ownership right now. So projection-wise, is not naturally occurring for me too much. Van Vliet. So Van Vliet crushed for us last time out. I mentioned I'd probably put him at 100% of lineups. He was one of the good parts of that night. Got 40 fantasy points, a little bit shy of that, playing 40 minutes. Van Vliet, again, same principle here we always talk about. If Jalen Green starts to look better, Van Vliet will look worse. If anybody else starts to score on that team, Van Vliet gets some less shots up. He's not really getting a ton of usage as it is. Under 20% usage overall so far in the series. But Van Vliet, 5,700, nice price tag for a guy playing 40 minutes. And seemingly the one guy, too, they're not moving away from the rotations. They're playing Şengün, 42 minutes. They're playing Van Vliet, 40 minutes last game. Dylan Brooks played 36. Everybody else in the team, 30 max for Amen Thompson. Nobody else above 30. So Van Vliet's a core rotational guy for the Rockets right now. He is, I think, one of your key plays in the day, and he's an 81% of my top 150 lineups right now. Brandon Podziemski, 43%, 28% for the field. He looks okay here. Again, really think that he got there last time out because of how poorly Steph Curry played. If Steph Curry plays better today, Podziemski's got to come down a little bit, but he did go for 40 fantasy points last time out, playing big minutes as well. He played 40 minutes flat last game too, contributed in a bunch of categories, obviously including points, but added some peripherals as well with 11 in the game. So for Podziemski here, think he is an okay play, but not as good as he has been the last couple slates where I was getting him in basically every lineup. Jaden McDaniels, similar principle here. Price tag's coming up from a little bit. Still looks good to me with a 32-point projection. I've been 55% of my top 150 lineups. Fields at 25. Podziemski and McDaniels, if you guys have watched the streams, they've been key kind of value guys for me every slate. Sometimes it hasn't worked out for the most part in the series, especially for McDaniels. It has worked out pretty well. McDaniels last game, I don't have the popcorn machine up. Actually, I can just pull up on the regular production computer here. Where are we at? Houston Golden State I have up. Laker game. Here we go. So McDaniels played 39 minutes last game. Not quite the 44 Anthony Edwards played. Not quite the 43 that Julius Randle played. But he's really the only third guy here getting seriously ramped up playoff minutes. With Rudy Gobert playing less, they're playing a good amount of Naz Reid. They've also, I think they went... No, they didn't go at any point... No, they actually did play a little bit with no Naz Reid or Gobert here. They went small with DiVincenzo, Conley, Edwards, McDaniels, Randle playing the 5. So really Gobert getting squeezed, Naz getting squeezed, Randle, McDaniels, Edwards not getting squeezed at all. So McDaniels, I think, still firmly in play here. He's a key rotational guy. Just the issue is that because of the defensive focus and the fact that we could expect perhaps more usage today for LeBron, for Luka consolidating more, McDaniels might get a little more gas defensively, and that'd be a thing that certainly hurts the upside a little bit fantasy-wise. Let's sort by value, though. Going to see some similar names, I am sure, in a moment here. But again, we're live to get this done in under a half hour. Living the dream today, potentially. So Fred VanVleet, a top value. LeBron right behind him. Two guys we talked about at length already. Dorian Finney-Smith playing a good amount of minutes lately as well. Last time out, he played 41 minutes. Not the most efficient 41 minutes. Only 6 points, 13 peripherals. But for a guy who's out there playing some 5, playing some 4, Dorian Finney-Smith is very deeply involved. So he is in the mix again, even though the production, 23 fantasy points, not doing a lot for you, but enough for him to get in 60% of my top 150 lineups. Austin Reeves, we talked about already. He's just too cheap at 6,800 for a guy playing real serious playoff rotational minutes in an elimination game. And if he does succeed today, maybe one way to get away from that LeBron and Luka ownership, if Austin Reeves were to have a random 50-point day, that probably knocks Luka and LeBron closer to the floor level of their projection. So that's one way to play Austin Reeves in terms of a game theory component. Buddy Hield started last game. If he starts again, I think you take that shot. Played 30 minutes last game at a 4K salary. That would play pretty well. Projection's not too great for him. 22 fantasy points, very similar to Dorian Finney-Smith. But these guys today are probably your two primary values. Julius Randle, we talked about McDaniels, Podziemski. We've hit on all these guys already. Steven Adams is an interesting one here. So a couple times last game, I think in particular in the second half. And let's go to the popcorn machine because visual aids, why not? Couple times last game, though, Şengün and Steven Adams were playing together, and they took smaller guys out. So it happened, I know, in the second half. I did see that during the game. Yeah, Adams came in here at this point. 7 minutes in, they played Adams and Şengün together with VanVleet, with Dylan Brooks, with Jabari Smith. So kind of a weird group there. Fourth quarter as well. They almost basically closed entirely with Şengün and Adams. Went really big here against the Warriors. First half as well, a few minutes with Şengün and Adams together. And it could just be because Şengün's playing so many minutes at this point that like you're going to get a few minutes of him and Adams together. But they clearly played Adams a good amount. I mean, 26 minutes last game, Şengün 42. If the Warriors start bombing from 3, start abusing the matchup a little bit more, maybe they can get away from Steven Adams. But Adams played a lot of minutes. So at 3,600, the positionality is not going to help you out too much. But he is a value. So 24% of my top 150 has him. Stokastic has him for 30% ownership. So Adams technically your best value play today in terms of being cheap and probably playing at least 20 minutes, as you can see here in the projection, maybe playing 25 or so. We're doing game by game here, guys, and the views are awful today, but I know it's because 2-game NBA slate. I get how it goes in the playoffs. Show some love if you can. If you're watching this one live or after the fact, please subscribe down below, hit the like button, leave a comment. Man, no matter what here, no matter how short the slates are, as long as there's meaningful tournaments and I'm playing them, I'm here doing a video here down the home stretch of the NBA playoffs. So show some love, hit the like button, subscribe. It all goes a long way for me here. A solo creator doing the best I can to show you my gambling on stream. And check out our sponsors, our partners as well. No direct sponsorships on the show right now, but Unabated, 20% off. Great betting tools that you'll see some of coming up in a few minutes here. And Stokastic, 15% off, link below. All their data, all their sim stuff, no matter what sport it is, you can get it 15% off. And that's in perpetuity as well. It's not a one-time deal like some of the promos they have. It's just 15% off in perpetuity. And then they also give half the money you spend to me. So that's a great way to support the channel and get yourself a good product as well over at Stokastic. All right. Golden State, 100 implied points. Houston, 104 implied points. Real kind of playoff-y numbers here for both games today. 2 low-pace teams as well. 2 teams with decent defenses on both sides. So that's part of it as well. But Steph Curry here, as we talked about, this feels a little bit low owned to me at 20.8%. Awful box score last game. The fact that he's going to be the least owned out of all the pay-up options, I think is his main appeal here. Besides that, Jimmy Butler went nuts last game. Butler, Podziemski, and Hield all had good games because of, I think, in large part, Steph Curry not playing well. If Steph Curry plays well, the stats flow his way more so. If he doesn't play well, these guys will fill in more. There's a lot of attention dedicated to going Steph Curry's way last time out. Draymond Green here, I think an okay play. I'm really never the biggest Draymond guy at this point, but I'm for 31.3 fantasy points. So Stokastic for 30. So technically I'm a pro Draymond guy today. 27% ownership in my top 150, Fields at 23. Draymond, not been my favorite player in the series, but if Houston's going to keep going big, I mean, I think they have to have Draymond out there. They only had him 31 minutes last game. For comparison, Podziemski played 40, Butler played 40, Hield played 30, Steph played 39. I think Draymond had foul trouble too. Yeah, he had a bunch of fouls. He had 4 fouls in the third quarter, so that's part of it as well. Yeah, Draymond should get some more minutes today. So 35-minute projection for Stokastic, maybe a shot at getting to 40. He's not in foul trouble. Yeah, Draymond might be a better player than I'm giving him credit for. I think Draymond at 35 minutes, 6,200. I'm happy to be above the field on that. It's probably like a 50% play to me, I don't think, but getting more than the field, getting 33 to 40% of him. That sounds like kind of an arbitrary number, but that's about where I feel about him. I don't want him like being one of the key players in my pool, but I think getting more of him in my pool is probably an ideal thing. Pajemski and Hield looking pretty good minutes-wise. The usage, though, can flow away if Steph Curry is not defended as well as he was last game. And he also got hurt in that game, too, briefly. So for these guys here, Golden State, obviously every team here on a 2-game slate going to be pretty important. But Golden State, I think, important not only just for the guys that are in play, but also for the fact people might point chase Pajemski and Hield a little bit more. They still look good projection-wise. If they fail, Curry probably did a little bit better. Butler probably did a little bit better. People point chase Butler. Curry's direct leverage against him as well. So there's a lot of ways I think this could work out for positively for Golden State if you try to get unique with it. Houston on their side. So Amin Thompson's minutes have been not the best. Played 30 minutes last game. As we talked about, it's really Van Vliet, Brooks, Şengün playing the locked in high level of playoff minutes overall. Şengün, the offense flowed through him. So unless Golden State has some big men that can do something that they haven't done all series, I think Şengün is probably your pick. I guess you could maybe, how much did they play Looney last game? They played Looney 5 minutes. Looney just might be kind of done. You can play more Looney, maybe Looney and Trace Jackson Davis. They brought him out in the second half last game against the Şengün Adams lineups here with Jackson Davis as the 5 and that was like Gary Payton at the 4 because Draymond was in foul trouble. Looking at the popcorn machine at the same time. Weird spot for Houston and how they're handling things. There's more minutes to go around for these guys overall if they play it a little bit differently. I'm kind of surprised Amin Thompson, who was playing 40 minutes in the regular season, is not playing 40 in the playoffs, given the fact he's a good defender and he should be out there, you would think. But I got really no Amin Thompson, no Jalen Green here, only 5% of both guys. Ton of Van Vliet. I can live with that. Again, got him right last time out. He's just playing a ton of minutes. He's too cheap at 5,700. Everybody else here, I think Şengün's my priority with the offense flowing through him. Van Vliet, I like because of the minutes haul no matter what. Dylan Brooks does seem like the minutes are out there for defense for him as well. Him and Jimmy Butler are getting very chippy as well. I don't think that helps anybody out necessarily, but maybe it motivates them a little bit more, get some shots up. And Steven Adams playing double big minutes in both halves of the game and closing out with that potentially positive things, I guess. But Houston's got to throw shit against the wall here because they can get eliminated today. So rotation can be less solid. I think the only guy I would really trust at high ownership would be Van Vliet and Şengün. Price tag's too high to get him like a ton, but you give me in half my lineups and I wouldn't be mad at it. Minnesota, 102 implied points here. Randall, McDaniels, we talked about enough already. Anthony Edwards had the usage last time out. Certainly in an elimination game, expect him to get usage up again, but at 9,100, maybe more practical to play Randall, to play Jaden McDaniels, like the field's going to. But still 38% ownership for Edwards, 41% for Randall, 25% for McDaniels. I'm above on Randall and McDaniels, lower on Edwards. DiVincenzo in the mix as well, though he's just not getting those big playoff minutes at 4,800. Hard to play a DiVincenzo when you have 40 minutes for Pajemski, 30 minutes for Hield. But maybe DiVincenzo's more productive in that court time. There's some logic there, but I'm surprised I'm getting 31% of DiVincenzo. Is Lando being available lower Adams a little? I don't think so. You don't play a guy 26 minutes in a game and then like Landale's not been ahead of Adams at any point this year. So no, I don't think so. Unless they just want to go big even more, and then they play double bigs and play Landale too, but I don't think it would take away from Adams' minutes. What would take away from Adams' minutes is them going smaller and deciding they need scoring out there more and getting more Jalen Green, like maybe Jabari Smith out there. If they went fully small, went Jabari at the 5, it's another thing that would keep Adams off the court. But he'll be out there, I think, some amount. He's not, again, like not a lock value play to me. I have less than the field. But he's out there. Mike Conley, not a priority play for me. Seems like he really shouldn't even be in the rotation in this point. That said, still a vet, still playing minutes at 3,500, so maybe get a few more. But I got 22% fields at 27. Luke and LeBron, as talked about in the beginning, if you're just tuning in here, you're skipping around. Luke and LeBron, your 2 highest elimination game scorers in playoff history. Hard to fade them, but that said, 41% ownership for Luka, 60% for LeBron. It's a lot going to both guys. LeBron got there last time out without a ton of usage. If he gets more usage up, he could have an even higher ceiling theoretically at 9K. Like LeBron a lot, like Luka less, but I think getting 33% at least of both guys is probably a practical move. Austin Reeves, 75% here. If you were to not play Luka and LeBron, I would really consider Reeves plus a couple Lakers here. Reeves playing 40 minutes, he can have an offensive day that's out of nowhere looking really good. And people will be aware of Luke and LeBron's numbers. Like Underdog's handle tweeted it today. People are going to know that these guys do well in elimination games. And frankly, the field's already in elimination games, really playing the highest usage guys to get them out, as we saw in the last couple slates. So for Luke and LeBron, they'll be very highly owned. I think Austin Reeves is a compelling lever against it, but he's also highly owned at 42%, and I got 75. Rui Hachimura hasn't really been a player for me all year, but he's 4,700 and playing mid-30s minutes. So I got 16% of him, fields at 37. Dorian Finney-Smith, 59%, fields at 31. The Gary Trent day yesterday, I think, was a good reminder. I mentioned in the Discord earlier today. Just playing starters here, hoping that those guys get you the most minutes is the best outcome here. Even though Kevin Porter Jr. wasn't great today, I think was still in most of the tournament winning lineups out there. He played 40-something minutes, 45 minutes, I believe, in that game, including the OT. Like, these guys are playing legit minutes once they're announced the starter, trying to pivot around that, get a bench guy. It can work out. But really, for the most part, your starters are going to be the guys that these teams are kind of going to war with and expecting to be the players they want to have closing and play the majority of minutes. So for Finney-Smith, for Rui, neither guy a good player by any metric I would look at. But if they're going to play 40 minutes at a really condensed Lakers rotation, they are in play despite their mediocrity. And that's the game-by-game view here. We're probably not going to get done under a half hour, but let's go to Unabated now. Let's see if it logs me out. Let's try that. I bet it's going to log me out the moment I try to do anything here. Let's see if we get some good bets in with Unabated using the market-based projections. We'll look at points first, rebounds, assists, then PRAs. We'll see what we find here on PrizePicks, Underdog, your two pick'em sites, DraftKings, FanDuel, and of course, a lot more books available on Unabated if you want to check it out for yourself. A link down below, 20% off. Get a monthly package there. Probably not the rest of NBA season one because it's kind of pricey. But get a monthly package. Check it out. Again, if you want to do well in betting, it's just a matter of spending the time using the data, getting in a lot of bets at different books at whatever your unit size is. It's what Unabated lets you do really well. So check it out for yourself at Unabated. Link down below. All right, Anthony Edwards under 29.5 points. Minus 125 odds on DraftKings gets you a 4.1% EV. So really nice EV for Anthony Edwards. And because we're using market-based data, everything at 2% or higher theoretical ROI here is good to go. For sim numbers, you want 5% or higher. So just keep that in mind with the numbers we're looking at here on screen. Donovan Mitchell coming up on May 4th. We now have the Cavs Pacers series booked. We got a bet for it as well. Under 27.5 points, minus 120 odds on FanDuel, looking good right now. If you want to play a game coming up before Cinco de Mayo. For Donovan Mitchell, under 27.5 points, 2.9% EV. Dante DiVincenzo over 9.5 points, looking good on PrizePicks, 2.3% EV on there at usual pick'em odds. But again, DiVincenzo minutes are okay. Second tier minutes for sure on the T-Wolves, but nothing locked in any real way. Rebounds coming up next. Sip of Diet Coke for the working man. All right. Scrolling down to make sure we're pulling everything in. All right, so not a lot for rebounds. We got Luka Doncic today under 8.5 rebounds. Scary to take a rebound under for a guy who might play 45 minutes today. But under 8.5 rebounds for Luka Doncic, plus 110 odds on DraftKings gets a 2.4% EV. Steven Adams here, right at a rounded up 2%, so we could play this one. Over 7.5 rebounds for Steven Adams today, looking good on PrizePicks. Over 7.5 on there, 1.9% EV. Other ones a little bit too low. Assists. See what we get here. I'm also hungry. I had only a protein Pop-Tart today after working out. And protein Pop-Tarts, by the way, if you want a protein Pop-Tart in your life, which is, I know is a sentence nobody wants to hear too much. If you're looking for something that's got protein and is like a little bit sweet, and you have these legendary protein Pop-Tart things, really good. The blueberry one I enjoy. Tastes a little bit medicine-y, the aftertaste, but whatever. That's what we're doing while we sim stuff out here to fill the time. Fred VanVleet over 4.5 assists. Your best assist bet right now. Is this really everything? Just making sure we got all the lines in. Yeah, that's it. Fred VanVleet over 4.5 assists, minus 114 odds on FanDuel, 2.4% EV for Fred VanVleet. Playable on DraftKings as well, where it's a 2% EV flat for 4.5 assists on there at minus 115 odds. But VanVleet looking good for the over on assists and nothing else assist-wise you would want to play from today's slate or any upcoming games. Last but not least, our PRAs. Honestly, I'm going to start the Stokastic sim in the other tab. So we have a shot at being done in a half hour flat. I believe both in Joe Hendry and my ability to be done in under a half hour. All right. We got some bets here. All right. So we got, let me resort this because I feel I missed one. There we go. Mike Conley under 12.5 PRAs, looking good on your pickup sites, 4.4% EV. Playable as well on DraftKings, barely under 12.5 PRAs on there at minus 125 odds. Anthony Edwards, 3.6% EV for under 40.5 PRAs, excuse me. The EV, though, is 3.6% under 40.5 PRAs. Minus 105 odds on DraftKings Sportsbook. The brown sugar one tastes like sugary asshole. That's not good. I like the blueberry one a lot, so I was thinking about trying the others, but that's not the most encouraging review, I guess, unless you like a sugary asshole, and some people out there may. But Anthony Edwards under 40.5 PRA is good on DraftKings, actually pretty nice EV on that. And Donovan Mitchell, 2% EV on under 38.5 PRA is another Quattro de Mayo special here for that series coming up with the Cavs and Pacers. Under 38.5 PRA is minus 128 odds on FanDuel. Line is a little bit mispriced to start out here before the series kicks off. All right, over to Stokastic next. Oh boy, if I read this fast enough, guys, we can do it. It's like crossing the 5-minute mile barrier. But for people who don't run, for people just sitting down and gambling and talking about healthy Pop-Tarts that might taste like assholes, that's what crossing the 5-minute mile is like. Again, guys, show some love if you can. If you're watching this video, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, leave a comment. You're doing the work every day. It's been a not great week for me in terms of my NBA DFS results. After a really good playoff run, I've made so much money the first couple weeks, and these last 2 days have been awful for me. But I'm trying to bounce back here. And again, that's what the ebbs and flows are of these slates on a given day. 2-game slate, I think it's a little bit easier to hopefully find your way to a more balanced exposure pool and hopefully have the best parts of your projections do the work. But we'll see here. When Gary Trent goes for 50, I'm just fucked. When Gary Trent goes for 50 and Tyrese Halliburton go for 50 on the same slate, I'm double fucked. There's 2 players I wouldn't get in most situations. What it is what it is. But important to acknowledge it here. The swings at NBA are always going to be there for you, even if you have the best results, the best data, all that stuff. All right. Top 150 lineups on Stokastic. And of course, Stokastic, you get all this data for yourself, 15% off, link down below. And it's for 50% off in perpetuity as well. So get in there. Best deal they have. Your number one ROI lineup, according to Stokastic data with no input from me here. You got Mike Conley, Buddy Hield, LeBron James, Jared Vanderbilt makes the lineup. Steven Adams, Luka Doncic, Julius Randle, Alperen Şengün. Vanderbilt played 7 minutes last game. Why? I don't know. I guess they could make a pivot to him, but I don't know why they would. He played the 7 minutes of the first half too. It's not like they went to him in the second half and he changed the game. I'm confused by that one. Number 2, Luka Doncic, Donte DiVincenzo, LeBron in this one. Julius Randle. So Luka and LeBron in this one. Julius Randle. So no Anthony Edwards. You get Randle instead. Steven Adams is value. Austin Reeves. Wow. 3 Lakers in this one. Dorian Finney-Smith, another Laker, and Quentin Post. Okay. Number 3, Fred VanVleet, Donte DiVincenzo, LeBron James, Julius Randle, Steven Adams, Austin Reeves, Dorian Finney-Smith, and Alperen Şengün. So LeBron in all 3 lineups so far. Number 4, you get Luka, Buddy Hield, LeBron again, Dylan Brooks, Steven Adams, Austin Reeves, Julius Randle, Dorian Finney-Smith. So Lakers heavy stuff here for sure. Good Rockets amount as well. And at number 5, you get Fred VanVleet, Austin Reeves, Gary Payton II, Julius Randle, Steven Adams, Luka Doncic, LeBron James again, Mike Conley. So LeBron in all top 5 lineups, and Luka with him in 4 out of the 5. Wow. Okay. So Lakers heavy here. Your top ROI plays. And again, the Giannis logic yesterday was there. Elimination game, guys throwing everything they can against it. That certainly can happen. And for a team like Denver, they were in the lead yesterday, called off the dogs. Both games, elimination games today. So maybe favoring the elimination teams. I don't know. Sims seem to be doing it for you. Certainly seem to be doing it for you. Steven Adams, your top ROI player. In fact, the only player with a positive ROI across Stokastic's top 150 lineups is Steven Adams, 4.3% ROI on here. Luka Doncic, negative 6% ROIs at number 2. So don't worry about the negative number. We're looking at the directional stuff. That's what matters the most for the sim here. But Adams, number 1, Luka, number 2. Weird combo. Dorian Finney-Smith at number 3, Julius Randle at 4, Rui Hachimura 5, Mike Conley at 6 with a negative 9% ROI, and LeBron James at number 7 with a negative 9% ROI, which probably not that bad given how many lineups he's going to get into, I assume. Your exposures here, I didn't favorite all 150. That's why. All right. Highest exposed players. LeBron in 75% of Stokastic's top 150 lineups compared to the field's 59%. So big stand in favor there. Steven Adams at 74% of lineups. That is a huge stand on Steven Adams that I did not see coming. I I could see why people would ask about Chalk Landale more if you see that Adams ownership being that high. I think your bigger risk remains that they just go small. You can play Jabari Smith the 5. You could go with Amon at the 4 and go down from there. Go Brooks, Green, Van Vliet. Certainly a way that could work out. They played better, though. Again, I'll go to the popcorn machine one more time. So they were playing awfully with the small group. Went to Adams here. They clawed back in, took the lead, lost the lead late, but that was a lot of this happened with Adams and Şengün together. Not that Adams is doing anything, but he's out there. So weird. Yeah, man, I don't know. I still have real concerns about Steven Adams here, but 74% of the sim is a crazy amount of Steven Adams. The fact, too, that I think if you're trying to play against stochastic players, keep in mind a large portion of their lineups are going to include one center spot, having a guy that's cheap, and maybe that's your way to pivot around that. Play another guy, play a legit center who comes over the top of Adams, maybe a high-scoring center. I don't know if that would really be on the slate, but Şengün, let's say. You play Şengün, hope you blow out the Adams scores, and then you also go to a cheap guard then in the utility spot, and that's one way to try to get away from what Stokastic users will be doing with their sim, it looks like. But I'm shocked to see this much Steven Adams coming in. That's so much. Luka Doncic, 65% exposure in Stokastic's top 150, Fields at 42. Not surprised to see that. Julius Randle, 64% in Stokastic's top 150, Fields at 40. So, again, he's been playing well all series. Definitely the number 2 option right now behind Anthony Edwards. Rui Hachimura and 50% of lineups, Fields at 37. Rui's going to play a lot, so I certainly can get that, even though I don't like Rui much as a player. Austin Reeves, 45%, Fields at 41. Reeves, to me, remains your most live way to not play Luka and LeBron and hope you hit an outlier outcome. Reeves, a little bit cheap at 6,800 as well. He's going to be out there a lot no matter what. You could certainly play him with Luka and LeBron, but if he somehow had a crazy scoring day, put up a triple-double or something out of nowhere, it probably means that Luka and LeBron got closer to failing or at least hitting their floor projection. And Dorian Finney-Smith, 45% here, Fields at 30. So big stand on Lakers. 5 out of your top 7 players are Lakers here. Highest leverage guys, Steven Adams, Julius Randle, Luka Doncic, 23% more in the field. LeBron, 16% more. Finney-Smith, 15% more. Rui Hachimura, 13% more in the field. And a little bit of a positive stand on Mike Conley, who I said sucks. Price point pivot for Steven Adams for sure is Mike Conley. Play Mike Conley in the flex. That could work. Projections only 2.5 points off between Adams and Conley. And Adams' minutes definitely could be aggressive if things move away. They go smaller. Your most negative leverage guys, you're not playing really any Amen Thompson, only 4%, Fields at 26. Hardly any Jimmy Butler, 7%, the Fields at 24. Steph Curry, only 4%, in the Fields at 21. Jalen Green, only 2%, Fields at 19. I feel like him having a bounce back game and the fact that they've played the best when he scored a lot, I think you got to give him another shot to get going here, but Stokastic flat fading him here. Rudy Gobert barely being played, only 0.7%, Fields at 15. Jaden McDaniels are low on, 12%, in the Fields at 25.5. I'm surprised by that one. He's going to play legit minutes. And Jabari Smith, 10% ownership for Stokastic's top 150, Fields at 18. So we didn't get done under 30, but as close as we could possibly get here. Honestly, I'm surprised with some of the results of Stokastic Sim, but let's talk about that in a moment here. I'm going to give you guys my splash plays again for to close this out here. Before we do that, please subscribe down below, hit the like button, leave a comment. Got through as fast as I possibly could for the sake of you guys out there and the fact that it's a 2-game slate. Of course, I'm here every Monday to Friday during the NBA playoffs, showing you my work as best I can, updating my own projections, which you get access to by joining down below a Squirt Squad tier, the VIP tier, if you want exportable projections for the Sims and your other sites out there. Unabated 20% off, link down below. Check them out as well. Again, not a presenting sponsor at this point of the show, but they do put out a great product. That's really the main thing for me out there, is for you guys to see things that are going to help you actually win money. And Unabated's won people, legitimately $70,000 for all their tip-off bets, $65,000 for all their stuff when they first release projections. They've done really well for people this year, so you should check out Unabated and really trust what they're doing over there with professional bettors doing things that actually help professional bettors. And even if you're not a professional bettor, you'll get that quality of data, and that's really the main thing. And Stokastic, 15% off, link down below as well. Check them out. All the data, all the sim stuff that you saw on screen here. If you want to see updated versions of it and build your own lineups, you do that at Stokastic with my promo code SPLASH, get 15% off, link down below. All right, splash plays for the day. This is a tougher one for me. Got to be Van Vliet. I think I got so much of him, 2x a field on him, 81% ownership in my top 150. Austin Reeves, I think, is another one, 75% for me. Dorian Finney-Smith, 59%. He's another splash play. I think LeBron still is. I don't think that's sneaky after he put up the big box score game and frankly didn't get up a ton of shots in that spot. I think LeBron's got a big ceiling here, but I think he'll be very highly played. So I'm not going to go ham on him, but he's going to end up in more lineups than not for me for sure. Randall, not quite a splash play because he'll be chalky and I'll be a little bit above that, but I will be above it. McDaniels, another one. Up on Pajemski, up on Şengün. Low on Steven Adams compared to Stokastic. I'll say that. That's what it looks like for me for my splash plays of the day. Of course, no matter what you're doing here, guys, gamble responsibly. It could certainly be tough in NBA DFS. For me, honestly, look, I was so hot for a couple weeks. Part of why I played this weekend, updated my data for it. Then to get killed in a couple days here this week, I'm like, well, fuck, man. So that's the way it goes sometimes, especially when random players hit that maybe aren't the most projectable. Not to discredit anybody who played like your Gary Trents of the world yesterday. But that's the process here in NBA, just doing the work every day as best we can. And that's how, hopefully, it ends up being money time on this channel. Follow me at Chris Spags. Follow the show at Splash Play Bets. NBA going the rest of the playoffs. MLB DFS coming on the channel at some point as well. And I have the bandwidth to do it. But I'll see you guys again soon. Back on Stokastic as well today, doing MLB at 5:30. So come watch that if you want some baseball takes from me. I am as directionally accurate as anybody in MLB. Can't pick a home run for the life of me, but boy, can I pick a guy who's going to then have guys hit home runs around him. That's where I excel. But we'll talk about that at 5:30 with my pal Eric Lindquist. So come watch that. See you guys again soon. Enjoy your days and good luck. Bye-bye.